In this video, we discuss what is surely everyone's favorite topic, error messages. Now, if you follow the guidelines in these tutorials and pay close attention as you are selecting and registering for your classes, you shouldn't see too many of these. But, for example, with closed classes, this can happen sometimes. So we're going to go through 7 of the most common error messages that you will see and how to avoid them. By far, the most common error message that you'll run into is the closed section error message. This means exactly what it says. There are no more seats left in the section. Because registration is a dynamic real-time process, course sections open and change constantly. So if your preferred section is closed now, check back later, and it may be open at that time. Likewise, if your preferred section is open now, it may be closed later, so you want to be decisive as you're making your registration choices. Let's take a look at how this error might appear. So as an example, let's say you're trying to register for Computer Science 1, CISC 1600, along with the Computer Science 1 lab, CISC 1610. As before, we enter in the CRNs and click Add to Summary. We'll then hit Submit. And we see up top on the right 2 error messages come up, one for each of the sections. It's saying that CRN 33074 is closed and 33079 is closed. If this happens, you simply need to look for an open section and keep checking. If you feel stuck, return to the video tutorials and DegreeWorks, and of course, contact your SPAC. The second most common error message is one that unfortunately tends to sneak up on people: the time conflict error message. So let's say we wanted to switch out of this Phil 1000 R02 section and into another section. And I have the CRN for that as 10042. So like before, we're going to add this to our summary. Now, even before we go and make this change, we can see, this meeting on Wednesday at Phil of Human Nature is conflicting with the French that also meets on Wednesday morning. But let's see what happens when we try to make this change. So we want to web register for the new Phil 1000 course. We want to web drop this. And like we said before, we're making a swap, so we always want to check conditional add and drop. As you'll see, by doing this, the system is going to know that we cannot get into the new Philosophy of Human Nature section, so it won't remove us from the old one. If you were to not check this box, the system would simply drop you from the old section without being able to enroll you in the new section. So let's see what happens. So as we see, this message up here says that it was unable to make the requested changes, so our schedule was not changed. And if we mouse over this message here, we see that there was a time conflict with the French course, as we said, CRN 23225. If this happens, you would just need to keep looking for a section that works with your schedule, and of course, planning everything out and taking a look at this visual view over here can help you avoid this error message to begin with. The third most common error message is one that's thankfully easy to avoid. It is the prerequisite error message. Let's say for your fall schedule, you are interested in taking a physical science core, like Intro to Astronomy. Remember that Intro to Astronomy requires a math course or a math AP or IB score as a prerequisite. As we also said in the earlier video, if you have a life science AP or IB score, that would allow you to take the physical science in the fall if you so chose. But if none of that applies to you, if you don't have a math AP or IB, or you don't have a life science AP or IB, and you've never taken a math computational reasoning course at Fordham, you would not be allowed to take this course right now. So we'll see what happens when we try to register for Intro to Astronomy, Physical Science Core. We go to Web Registered and hit Submit. And we get this one here, prerequisite and test score error, and on the top it says prerequisite and test score error. You'll see right away the action defaults to remove, so if we were to submit again, it would just clear it from our schedule and we would be ready to try again. The best way to avoid this is simply be knowledgeable about the prerequisites for any courses that you're looking to take. A very close relative to the prerequisite error has to do with courses that are connected or are co-requisites to each other. Let's say, for example, looking at our science schedule, we wanted to change our Intro Bio Lab 1 because it didn't work well with our schedule, we wanted to change to another section. So if we went right in here and just tried to drop the biolab, the system will not let us. As you can see, this error message saying that we must drop all connected courses in the same transaction. So the best thing to do here would be to web drop the bio section and then simultaneously add in its replacement, of course using conditional add drop to ensure a successful swap. The next most common error message is even easier to avoid. This is the college or campus restriction error message. What this means is that you are trying to register for a course that is not at Fordham College at Rose Hill or is not at the Rose Hill campus. As a recap, all core classes must be taken at Fordham College at Rose Hill. The only very rare exception is for students, as we discussed before, who are taking Japanese or Russian, which is only offered at the Lincoln Center campus. If, for example, as we'll demonstrate here, you were to try to register for Math 1100 L01, and that L means that it's a Lincoln Center course, just say you were not following the rules and you decided to do that, and we tried to register for this, you would get this error message here, campus restriction, college restriction. If this is the case and you find yourself in the situation, just remember to always select Fordham College at Rose Hill under the college fields when searching, unless you are looking for a Japanese or Russian course. This next error message is a little less common, but if you're thinking of taking physics in the fall semester as part of your schedule, it's important to be aware of. So let's say we're registering for Intro to Physics 1, Intro to Physics 1 Recitation, and Physics 1 Lab. We have those three components that are required. Everything looks good here. There are no time conflicts, and we go to Submit. And okay, it looks like it was able to do the recitation and lecture, but not the lab, and it's saying that there's a program restriction. You might wonder, well, what does that mean? Let's look at it for more details. If we take a look here under restrictions, we'll see that this specific lab section is restricted to students who are pursuing a BS in engineering physics or a BS in physics. So if that's not you, you would need to search for another lab section because this one is reserved for students in these two majors. The last error message we'll discuss is one that's very easy to avoid with a little bit of attention. Let's say that you wanted to move from this section of Composition 2 to one that was earlier in the day. I have a CRN here that will try to show this out. Okay, so we want Composition 2 earlier in the day. We hit Submit, and duplicate course with CRN 11121. So what's happened? We forgot to remove this from our schedule, so the system won't let you be registered for two sections of the same course. So to make this work, we would simply select Web Dropped on this one, change this one back to Web Registered, do conditional add and drop, and hit Submit. And our save is successful, and we're now in the earlier Composition 2 class. That's it for this video. These are the most common error messages that you should be aware of. If you follow all the instructions in this video, you should be good to go in terms of avoiding these.